Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, The Jamie Jo Show. In this video, we are going to talk about the episode Find Me. I am so excited. But first, before we get into that, I wanted you to meet little Sophie. She's short for Sophia. Little Sophie baby, yes, my little puppy. But she's not, don't worry, she's not going to be the video the whole time, although she is so cute, you might want her to be. Huh, yes. That's right. But we are going to talk about that episode. I am so excited. It was amazing. I am sure there's a lot of fans in an uproar right now. Twitter's probably blowing up. A lot of carolers out there like, what is happening? So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so this episode was, I thought it was so awesome. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me feel, and I had all the feels for Daryl. Daryl. I cannot get over Daryl in this episode. I'm like, oh man, Norman Reedus, you crushed it. And Lynn Collins, who played Leah, she was fantastic. Of course, Melissa McBride and Carol, Queen Carol. I loved it. I loved that the opening that Daryl did, he narrated the recap. That was really good. And then we see Dog. Yes, an episode about Dog, and we get a little puppy dog too. Oh my gosh, the backstory. Yay! So Daryl working on his bike, and that's the opening scene before the credits start rolling, the opening credits. And Carol walks up, and they're kind of bantering back and forth, and he's like, oh, she's trying to tell him that she can fix it or whatever, help him fix the bike, and he's like, nah, I got this. And she wants to come along with him, and she says, you know, just hunt whatever is out there to hunt. So we don't, I mean, is Daryl actually like going to hunt, or is like for food, or is he out there hunting for Rick? Or maybe Connie. We don't know. So the bike starts and she jumps on it. It was so funny because he's like, hey, I didn't say you could go. And then yay, Dog was running along with the bike, and then we get the opening music. Loved it. So then Daryl parks his bike, and there's a lot of time jumping in this episode. So, but in this scene, it's present day. They're tracking a deer, but they find it dead, and they decide to go north of the river, which was kind of a little tense scene. You're like, whoa, what's up the river? Okay. And they stopped a spearfish, which was really funny. Carol got the first one, like right off the bat, like first try, she got one. And then they were, of course, bantering back and forth about how to clean a fish, and it was just really cute. It was really funny, them, you know, interacting with each other, and you're like thinking, are they okay, or is this banter back and forth like they are okay? Is this just kind of masking and covering up the tension that is really there? And then all of a sudden Carol's like, you know, Daryl, do you think our luck has run out? And she talks about the dead catching up with them and how it always does. And Daryl says he ain't gonna let it. Oh, then Dog takes off running and barking, and we were like, wow, what happens? Well, then so do Daryl and Carol. They go chasing after Dog. That's when they come up to the cabin, and Daryl like stops. Carol's just about to go running in there, but Daryl obviously knows the place, like something is up, and boom, flashback, and you see a woman petting the dog. You see a woman petting Dog. Oh my gosh. She's sitting on steps and she's petting Dog. Then it goes back to present day, and Daryl standing there, and he goes inside, and Carol says they can spend the night while he's looking around, and then it shows a cross outside, and he stops and he's thinking about it. He obviously knows the backstory on this, okay? And then boom, flashback 5 years ago. So this does time jumping all over the place. This is 5 years ago though, and Dog, the little puppy, runs up to him. Oh, Dog's a puppy, so cute. And then takes off. Then you see Daryl putting up, and he's like, okay, a puppy, random. But then you see Daryl putting up a big map, and he's got a camp set up, and it's obvious that he's been looking for Rick, right? This is his map. And Carol comes to visit him, bringing him supplies and giving him an update, and that she mentions that he's been out there searching for about 2 years. More searching. He goes looking around. There's a huge storm. He's out there like, you know, just taking it and totally dealing with the storm in his little cabin. And then boom, the rain starts pouring into his cabin and it messes up the map, and he's like, no, and it's so dramatic and you feel so bad for him. And the map is totally trashed. Then flashbacks to 1 year later. Dog finds him again, a little more grown-up dog, about a 1-year-old dog, and he takes off running and barking, and he goes back to the cabin. So it's this cabin, but 3 years ago. I don't know, it's all over the place. And he goes running into the cabin. There's zombies, there's a walker. He goes into the cabin, he kills one, and then boom, a zombie arm comes flying at him, and here comes Leah, but we don't know her name yet, but I'm gonna call her Leah because that's who she is. She comes with her shotgun, which is amazing, and she's like, who are you? And she lived here. Okay, so then it goes back to present day. And dog is smelling something in, I don't think, maybe, has Leah said anything yet? I don't know. Maybe that flashback she hadn't said anything. She just threw the army in. But I'm pretty sure she did say, who the hell are you? Anyway, so we're back to Carol, and dog is smelling something on the ground, and Carol's like, oh, what's this? And she opens up, there's like a piece, like a whole loose piece of the ground, the floor of the cabin, and there's a hole in there, and she pulls out a note and she reads it, and she looks up at Daryl, and she's like, and she goes, she lived here? What? Oh my gosh, what? Carol knew about a woman? There's history obviously here, like what is happening? And Daryl says, it was a long time ago. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And he walks outside, and Carol follows him, and he's, before she can even say anything, he's like, I already told you everything. And Carol goes, no, you didn't. And he's like, what else do you want to know? And she just says, whatever you want to tell me. And then Daryl tells the story of how he met Leah and what happened. Ah! So now we have another flashback. Daryl's tied up. Leah is dragging the walker out of there, and she points a gun at him after she's done with that. And then she wants to know who he is, and she takes her little knife out and cuts him loose, and she totally lets him go. But she won't tell she won't tell Daryl his name. Her name. Oh my gosh. I'm struggling today, guys. This episode got me like, ah, and I've watched it a couple times. Let me just tell you. So they skipped again. There's another flashback. This is 6 months later. So 6 months later, Daryl is at his camp with that wound on his face, his scar. So it's fresh, right? And dog runs up to him. Then Daryl goes back to the cabin, and Leah is sitting there, and then she's on the steps, and she thanks him for bringing him back. And Daryl asks what the dog's name is, and she tells him Dog. And then so now 8 months later, and they go back and forth about Dog, his name. But 8 months later, Daryl is surrounded by walkers, and then there's a gunshot, and Leah is there to save him, and they go running, and they run up ahead of the walkers, and they go in this little like area where there's like trees and stuff that they're surrounded. And I swear it was so Carl and Enid when they were surrounded by walkers and they went in the tree and they're like all close, and you just feel this romantic tension, and it's like, oh my gosh, because they're so close to each other. And I just thought it was like, and I bet other fans are freaking out because I was freaking out. And then so then the walkers are finally gone, right, or whatever, they're safe. And and then all of a sudden Daryl's like, stay away from my camp. Like, what? She just saved your life, dude. What are you talking about? Now you want her to stay away? And then she gets so mad at him, and she goes to walk away, and she goes, name's Leah. Like, I just saved your life. There's my name. You're welcome. So again, then this is 3 months later, so another time jump. Daryl's back at the cabin and he throws a fish at her door. He waits, nothing happens. And then it shows him back at his camp and he's sitting there and all of a sudden she comes up and she throws the fish in. He's like, hey, why is it throwing stuff at me? And they bicker, they totally banter back and forth about not bothering each other again. And she notices that he has some frostbite on his hands. So the next scene, it's dark and he's obviously spending the night in her cabin. And he wakes up and because he's hearing broken glass. And you see Leah sitting on the ground and with a broken frame and a picture of her and a little boy. And she says, it's his birthday today. Oh my gosh. His name was Matthew and that was her son, but she didn't actually have him. It wasn't actually her biological son. It was her sister's but not her like biological sister. It was her sister from her squad, her group of people, because she didn't actually have any real family, she said, I think was what she said. And oh, that was like, whoa, because what a connection to Daryl, because Daryl obviously had a rough childhood too and some kind of family. And so boom, they were connected like right there, bonded immediately after that. I think personally, I think that was what really got it started. And oh my gosh, it was so sad. And then she says that it doesn't matter, he's gone. And then we hear Dog's birth story and how Dog died the same day. I mean, Dog was born the same day that her son Matthew died because they were surrounded by walkers and he had been bit and she took off running. And that's when Dog was born and it's so sad. Oh my gosh. And then she talks about how she hasn't seen a soul since until Daryl. And she is just, oh my gosh, she's all sad and she's crying and she asks him, who did you lose? Because obviously everybody has lost somebody at this point in the show and in the apocalypse. And Daryl goes, oh, I get goosebumps, look, goosebumps, real goosebumps. This is goosebumps. I'm just thinking about it because he goes, my brother. It was an accident. And she's like, how? He says it was an accident and they never found the body. Oh my gosh, he's talking about Rick. And he says he's never going to stop looking though. And then she goes, always the hero, huh? And so then the next scene is a little bit more, it's a little lighter, a little lighthearted. They're spear fishing, which I thought was a good parallel because he and Carol spear fishing. And of course she catches it on her first try. And, oh, that's my daughter's notes. But yeah, so I think it totally, you see their love blossoming. And I'm going to go right out ahead and say love because let's call it that because that's what it is. And I think it's adorable for Daryl and I am super happy for it. Carolers will be so mad at me for saying that, but I'm sorry, it is what it is. I love Leah and I love this relationship and I love it. I'm here for it. Anyway, and then all of a sudden, what? Next scene is them in the cabin and I'm sorry, is that Leah naked and she's reaching her hand out to Daryl? So well done. So more goosebumps. More goosebumps. I just absolutely loved it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now they have, their relationship has really blossomed, like we're talking really blossomed. So this is 10 months later, Daryl and Leah are in the cabin, they're sitting there eating and they're just kind of quiet and Daryl's leaving again apparently and Leah just comes right out and asks where he belongs. There with her or, out there searching or back at Alexandria with the people that he loves. And even Daryl is tearing up. To see Daryl tearing up like that, oh, because he knows he belongs with her. And then he just tells her, I don't know. Oh, and she goes, yeah, you do. Now choose. Ooh, giving him an ultimatum. Oh my gosh, that's kind of backing him up into a corner, and I don't think that Daryl is very good with that. And I think it kind of freaks him out and scares him. And then the next scene is Daryl back at his camp, and obviously he has made his choice that he's going to go keep searching for Rick, I guess. And Carol shows up and he says that he's been busy and that he's just moving his camp. And she tells him that she's not coming back for a while because things are getting, you know, bad at the kingdom. And she just wants him to find peace and kind of basically telling him that he needs to call it quits and looking for Rick. And she thinks that she's going to end up losing him. And Daryl says, you ain't going to lose me. Like, so Daryl. So typical Daryl. So typical Daryl. And then it shows him out searching for more. You know, he's kind of like walking around, wandering. And then he's like stops and he realizes where he needs to be. And he just takes off and he goes back to the cabin and she's gone. But the picture of her son is gone. I will say that. But it looks like her cabin has been totally trashed. And Dog comes in. Dog is still left there. So why is Dog still there? She would not have just left him like that. Or did she leave him for Daryl to find Dog? I mean, so many questions, right? So much going on. And then it shows him writing a note that he leaves in the little hole, right? The spot. And there's a map with the river and where his camp is. And it says, I belong with you. Find me. Oh, more goosebumps. Oh, it was just... It was awesome. It was so beautiful. I loved it. More searching. So more searching again. We have kind of a little theme here going of a lot of searching. But now he's with Dog. And he says, come on, boy, we're going to get her back. So now he's searching for her. So now is he searching for Rick and for her? And then flash forward to the present day. Is he searching for all three of them? Rick, Connie, and Leah? Or has he just completely given up on all of them? I mean... so many things left unanswered, right? So now it goes back to present day. Daryl obviously is blaming himself for not being there, and Carol's trying to, you know, console him about it and make him feel like it's not his fault, which he obviously does because he tends to blame himself for. He blamed himself for Glenn, which it kind of was his fault. I'm just throwing it out there. Shh, don't tell anybody I said that. Anyway, but then she brings up Connie, and ooh, right away he's like, no, that's on you. Whoa, 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 whoa. So now we know tension is still there, and it is still raging between the two of them, and I don't know if it's fixable. Well, they're getting a spin-off show, so it's gonna be fixable. They'll be all right. But Carol says she's not sorry for Alpha. She's not sorry for, you know, getting rid of the Horde. And they fight some more, they bicker back and forth, and Carol says, you should just let me get on that boat, and he's like, maybe I should have. And Carol says, maybe I was right, our luck's run out. Oh my gosh. And then she says, it's gonna get dark soon, better fix this door. So they're gonna stay the night in the cabin, but obviously tensions are high, and that's how the episode ends. Oh, so intense. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I hope you enjoyed it too as much as I did. Like I said, I bet there are some fans going bazonkers out there because they are hardcore Carol and Daryl shippers, and they really want to see the two of them together and to see them fighting like this and apart, and then knowing how deep of a relationship he had with this woman named Leah. Wow, I'm just like Goosebumps City. Like I didn't need to go watch the episode again. I just loved it so much. I've already watched it a few times, but what's one more? Anyway, if you liked this video, hit that like button. If you like my other videos or my channel, please think about subscribing. Hit that subscribe button. And we will see you next week with another review for the next Walking Dead episode. Bye! Stay safe, everyone.